Good evening, everyone. I'm Lissy Bastien. It's Tuesday, September 29th. It's great having you with us. That double homicide in the Nassau Village community early yesterday morning has the Minister of National Security speaking out against senseless violence, particularly when children fall prey. Just ahead of the weekly cabinet meeting, National Security Minister Marvin Dames expressing his thoughts on the senseless slaying of children. The Nassau Village community is now mourning the deaths of 2 children who lost their lives to violence within the last several days.
And when you see that young children are getting caught up in the crosshairs of silly and petty foolishness between these young cowards. Every murder is senseless. It's senseless, you know? And you know, many of these people know each other. Yeah, many of these people know each other. We're all from the same communities or neighboring communities. What are we fighting over? What are we fighting over? So, you know, it's time for all of us to sit down and have that discussion.
Monday's killing of 7-year-old Ednick Wallace follows the unfortunate death of 7-year-old Reyes Williams just last Sunday. Back in June, 10-year-old Laurencia Simmons Walks was among a group of people in a yard near her residence when she was shot to the head and killed during a drive-by shooting. In light of these recent killings, members of the public are calling for capital punishment in the country. Here's the minister's take on that.
We have to work with our young people, our kids. These are our children. Nobody else's. We brought them into the world. And as I said before, until each and every one of us come to recognize that it is our responsibility, right, to participate in this process, we'll continue to go down this path, right? And that is why we're working through, all the programs that we're developing, Citizen Security and Justice, through the Neighborhood Watch Council, as you know, would have just won an international award, doing some tremendous work. But it's going to take more than that. It's going to take every individual, every household every individual that lives in a community in this country.
Well, outspoken clergyman Bishop Simeon Hall says apathy and indifference to crime remain the major reasons for its prevalence. Off the heels of 2 minors being murdered in Nassau Village community, Bishop Hall says heinous crimes like murder, rape, and robbery all occur under the complicity of good people who cloak criminal family members. He further urges those family members to turn criminals into the police.
No, I think the point I try to make is I prefer to turn my son in as a parent. Parents have to decide whether they want to turn their son in or bury them. That's just, that's a difficult choice. But I pray I never come to that, and I pray for those who, the only way we could put a dent in crime is for people to take it seriously. One of the problems that the 2 children murder happen is we have become numb to murder in our country. I think that's all needs to be said. Where's the public outrage?
Bishop Hall adds that nothing accommodates crime as much as sanctified silence, adding that too many criminals carry out their lawlessness unfazed to the pain they bring to their parents and other family members. He says family members who know of and benefit from crime have blood on their hands. In COVID-19 news, the Ministry of Health yesterday confirmed 65 additional cases of COVID-19, all of which are here in the capital. This brings the total number of confirmed cases in the country to 3,903. There have been 2,822 confirmed cases of COVID-19 on New Providence, 628 on Grand Bahama, 135 in Abaco, 54 in Bimini, 28 in Exuma, 22 in Eleuthera, 19 in Rygat Island, 15 in the Berry Islands, 12 in Long Island, 8 in Cat Island, 7 in Acklins, 6 in Andros, 5 in Crooked Island, 3 in Mayaguana, and 139 locations pending. The Ministry of Health also confirms the death of a 61-year-old female and an 86-year-old female, both of New Providence, who died on September 27th. Further, one death previously under investigation is now classified as non-COVID-19 related. Consequently, this non-COVID-19 related death decreases the number of deaths under investigation to 13, and the confirmed death toll increases to 91. Notably, there were 19,161 tests completed to date. Hospitalized cases decreased by 1 and now stand at 92. Further, there were 67 additional recovered cases. That category now tallies at 2,072. Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis is addressing a virtual United Nations meeting of heads of state and government on the topic financing the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development in the area of COVID-19 and beyond. During his address, Dr. Minnis told the heads of government that the world needs affordable development finance now, where no country is left behind. The Prime Minister called for fair play and equitable treatment in the global financial arena. Dr. Minnis noted that despite the noble efforts and support from the UN, other funding and assistance remains largely unavailable to the Bahamas because of perceived wealth that measures by inadequate and improper tools. He contends that the detrimental impacts of climate events and the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic on the global economy have made it clear that the methodologies of assessing a country's wealth are outdated and no longer justifiable. Dr. Minnis said the best long-term assistance that the United Nations can provide for its membership where the majority is not represented. The meeting was convened by UN Secretary General Antonio Guterres, the Prime Minister of Canada Justin Trudeau, and the Prime Minister of Jamaica Andrew Holness earlier today as part of the 75th session of the United Nations General Assembly. You're watching JCN News. When we return, the government considering an extension to NIB payout and an NIB manager on fraud charges. Stay with us.
This segment of the news was brought to you by Alive.